Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. P. Sherman 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. Shark bait, hoo ha ha. Give me a fin. Noggin. Dude. He touched the butt. My. Alright, I should stop quoting stuff from Finding Nemo now. Anyway, what is up everybody? Random Man here, bringing you my review for Finding Dory, which stars Ellen DeGeneres, Albert Brooks, Hayden Rollins, Ed O'Neill, Caitlin Olsen, Ty Burrell, Diane Keaton, and Eugene Levy, and is directed by Andrew Stanton. Now the plot does of course follow our title character Dory, voiced by Ellen DeGeneres, a blue tangfish who suffers from short-term memory loss. That is, until she rediscovers some old memories that she has lost relating to where her parents are, thus leading Dory on an adventure to find them. If you couldn't already tell by the intro, I am a mega fan of Finding Nemo. I absolutely adore this movie. It holds an incredibly special place in my heart for many reasons, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that this is the first movie I remember seeing in theaters 13 years ago when I was 5 years old. I cannot believe that amount of time has even passed. Technically, this isn't the first movie I've seen in theaters, so I often cite Finding Nemo as my first movie theater experience. And naturally, I went absolutely bananas for this film back when it first came out. I rewatched this movie last night in preparation for Finding Dory, and it still holds up. It is a phenomenal film, and this goes with a lot of Pixar's films as well. So going into Finding Dory, there was both a mix of happiness and reluctance to see it. For one thing, it's a sequel to Finding Nemo. This is an incredibly hard act to follow. But also, did we really need a sequel to this amazing movie? How was it though? Let's run down the whole thing. Going down the voice cast list, we of course have to first mention our title character Dory herself, voiced by Ellen DeGeneres. She is simply phenomenal voicing Dory once again. She has such optimism in how she voices her character and so much energy that the fact that the character of Dory has short-term memory loss, which in reality is something very hard to cope with, does not stop how Dory is portrayed in this movie to be so likable beyond belief. The other two returning characters, of course, are Marlin and Nemo. Marlin is voiced once again by Albert Brooks. He also does a simply superb job as the nervous clownfish. And Nemo this time around is voiced by Hayden Rollins, replacing Alexander Gold from the first movie. Of course, that had to happen. Alexander Gold has since grown up a lot since the first movie. He does have a vocal cameo in this film though, but I think Hayden Rollins does fit the role as Nemo and really does sound like Alexander Gold when he first voiced Nemo. There are some characters from the first movie that do make appearances in this sequel, but I would not like to give them away in favor of talking about some of the new characters in this film. We have Ed O'Neill as Hank, an octopus who has lost one tentacle, which technically makes him a septopus, as Dory jokes in the movie, but he also has a short temper and an angry attitude. It can be easy to just think of this performance as Ed O'Neill just doing his shtick from his TV work, like from Married with Children or Modern Family, but I think he makes this character all his own. I love this portrayal of the octopus in this film. He is very funny. He has a very nice ability to camouflage with his surroundings, but that goes more with the amazing animation that returns from the first movie. But Ed O'Neill, he is just superb. We have Caitlin Olsen as a whale shark, Destiny, who happens to be a childhood friend of Dory. She is a nearsighted whale shark that also has a very energetic attitude like Dory's character. She is also very nicely portrayed here. We also have Ty Burrell as Bailey, a beluga whale who has some trouble using his echolation ability. Again, another Modern Family star shows up in this film, but I think he also does a very nice job. Dominic West and Idris Elba are also in this movie. By the way, they were both from the show The Wire. They both portray two sea lions. They are very funny in their roles. We also finally have the parents of Dory, voiced by Diane Keaton and Eugene Levy. They are fitting in their roles too. Overall, the voice cast in this movie is simply pitch perfect as it was in the first film. The story here could have easily been a rehash of the very first movie, which, to my surprise, was not. Now, the title is Finding Dory, but technically Dory does not get lost in this movie. She technically does get lost in her mind, given how she has short-term memory loss, but it is mainly about finding her parents, but also herself, and how she fits into the rest of the ocean and how she is portrayed next to our other characters. That does make the story very engaging from the start. We have flashbacks to Dory's youth. The story even sets itself up a bit of commentary, if you will, on disabled people, except this time it's with the animals in this movie. Of course, the big meat of this movie, along with our performances and the story, is the animation. It is really gorgeous. It goes without saying that every Pixar movie just attributes itself with amazing animation and how it is just really put onto the big screen. One of the things that really gravitated me towards the original Finding Nemo is how the fish in this movie look like they're really there, moving along the water in their fluidity. It looks so realistic in their movements. Even the looks of the fish themselves look almost photorealistic, even if they are designed as cartoon characters. I love the locations. We do have the vast landscape of the ocean, but we even also segue into a marine life institute once the story does move along to that point of its duration. Oh, and by the way, I did see this movie in 3D, and yes, do see this movie in 3D if you can, as it makes the animation pop a lot more and you are just immersed into the world that the movie does create. In the midst of all this, I do have some problems with this film. The scale feels a bit stepped back in that we don't see the vastness of what this world that the movie exists in does create. We do get interesting locations like some of the ocean again and even the Marine Life Institute, but it just doesn't feel as impactful as it could have been. Also, the plot tried to hit some emotional beats that were reminiscent of the first movie. Only one thread really hit home for my own personal liking, and that would involve Dory and the relationship that she did share with her parents. But other than that, it made the movie just feel shallow at times, and no pun intended, even though it doesn't involve some marine life and water, if you will, but that's what the movie does feel like sometimes. There are still nice surprises to be had with this movie. There is a final action sequence in this film that is way too ridiculous for its own good, even by animated movie standards, but you can't just help but go along with it because it keeps the energy going that the movie creates once it starts off and goes through the duration of this film. This movie runs very nicely at about an hour and 40 minutes, just like the first movie did. It's really all coming together to a film that really is unnecessary, but even with a new thread in the story that the Finding Nemo franchise does create for itself, it is a welcome new chapter. My final thoughts on this movie are that it is sometimes shallow, yet it is amazingly animated, fittingly voiced, and welcomely cute. It would be impossible for me to think that this movie would live up to the masterful success that Finding Nemo first had all those years ago, especially on me and others who saw it in theaters for the first time. Even other animated movies in recent memory have set high bars, such as Pixar's own Inside Out from last year, my favorite movie of the animation genre from 2015. Even Zootopia from Disney themselves. It not only holds the title still of being my favorite animated movie of the year, but also my favorite movie of 2016 thus far in general. Finding Dory has a lot of hard stakes to live up to, and I think it mostly succeeds in doing so. I still haven't seen The Good Dinosaur from last year that Pixar also made, but I heard that was more good Pixar than great Pixar, like other movies in its library. And I think that's what I would describe Finding Dory. It is good Pixar, and even with a good Pixar film, it is an outstanding movie by any sense of that title. I will really recommend this movie. It is a definite recommendation for all those fans of the original movie and animation fans in general. And nostalgia hit me like a rock in this movie, seeing the animation pop up on screen, the opening title. It made me relive a lot of memories that I had with seeing Finding Nemo for the first time in theaters all those years ago. Once again, I definitely recommend this film. Psst, by the way, be sure to get to the theater early so you can check out the adorable short film Piper before Finding Dory starts. My final verdict for Finding Dory is 4 out of 5 stars. Thank you all, as always, for watching. Be sure to like this video, comment on what you thought of Finding Dory, subscribe to my channel for more, and I'll catch you on the next movie review.